Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a massive trap that almost all of us fall into when using generative AI, and how breaking this one habit is really what separates the power users from the rest of the pack.
Oh, absolutely. Most of us have integrated AI into our daily workflows by now. We're using it for everything from brainstorming to drafting emails. But there is a huge pitfall that's incredibly easy to stumble into, even if you consider yourself a total pro.
Exactly. So today we're breaking down a brilliant educational framework that challenges our default behavior. Because the absolute golden rule of generative AI is pretty simple. Don't stop at the first answer.
So let's be totally honest here. Do you accept the first answer? When you type in a prompt, are you just copying that output, pasting it right into an email, and moving on with your day?
Look, if you do, you are basically treating an incredibly sophisticated system like a novelty magic 8-ball. You shake it, you get a response like, reply hazy, try again, or, in this case, a generic paragraph, and you just accept whatever text floats to the top. But AI interaction shouldn't be a one-and-done transaction. It is a conversation.
And honestly, treating it like a conversation is exactly how we unlock its actual potential.
Which brings us to Section 1, the art of iteration, moving beyond the first response.
This is the core shift in mindset. You don't just command, you converse. You ask, the AI responds, you evaluate that response, and then, and this is the crucial part, you clarify, revise, or ask a follow-up question.
Right, so iteration isn't just shouting the same prompt again but louder. It's actively looking at what the AI just handed you and giving it new follow-up directions to sculpt it. You are building the output together, step by step.
The biggest takeaway here is that the first answer does not have to be the final answer. In fact, if you're doing it right, it almost never is.
Okay, let's say you ask a system to summarize a massive report. It spits out a summary that's accurate, but it's just way too dense for what you actually need.
Now, your first instinct is probably to throw a basic command at it, like make the summary shorter. But what if it does exactly that and completely chops out the most important part of the report?
That is where you have to refine your approach.
Exactly. Instead, you pivot. You say something like, keep it brief but include the article's main conclusion.
Every follow-up acts kind of like a sculptor's chisel. You are giving the AI additional precise direction until that answer fits your exact needs. That takes us to Section 2. How to evaluate output. Polish doesn't equal perfection. This distinction is absolutely crucial. Generative AI is remarkably good at sounding confident. It produces this incredibly polished, professional-sounding text. But here's the catch. A polished response can still be incomplete or literally just completely wrong.
Which means before you use any generated result, you have to actively filter it. First off, is it even relevant to what you actually asked? Or did it go off on some weird tangent? Is anything important missing?
And accuracy is huge. You really have to check the facts. I mean, think about the time I asked an AI for a simple pancake recipe, and it confidently and beautifully, I might add, instructed me to add 2 entire cups of salt. If I hadn't evaluated that, breakfast would have been a total disaster.
Oh, for sure. You also really need to look out for assumptions. Sometimes the AI just assumes you're writing for an academic journal when all you needed was a quick internal memo for your team.
And finally, does the tone fit your audience? If you're trying to explain a basic concept to a middle schooler and the AI starts using all this dense corporate vocabulary, it failed the test, no matter how beautifully written it was.
And this brings us right back to the trap. The core reason we have to run through all those mental checks is because of the fundamental nature of the technology itself. Right. Generative AI prioritizes sounding correct over actually being correct. It's basically stringing words together in a way that makes statistical sense. It's a plausibility engine, not an encyclopedia. It is not automatically checking every single statement against a verified database before it shows it to you. That heavy lifting of ensuring accurate facts, that falls entirely on your shoulders.
Which leads to Section 3, ask, evaluate, improve, the core workflow. Listen, if you take away anything from this explainer today, it should literally just be those 3 words. This workflow needs to become your absolute default habit. It should be muscle memory every single time you open up an AI tool.
Step 1. Ask. You give it your initial prompt. Step 2. Evaluate. Run it through that mental checklist we just talked about. Is it accurate? Is it relevant? And then, Step 3. Improve. Iterate and give those follow-up directions.
Now look, if you just need a list of 10 funny names for a pet iguana, Step 1 is probably totally fine. That is a very low-stakes task. But for almost anything else, you are going to need several rounds of cycling through these steps.
And honestly, sometimes you might evaluate the output and just decide not to use the result at all. And that is a perfectly valid, highly successful outcome of this workflow.
So, Section 4. You are the director.
taking an active role. The single most important point we can leave you with today is that using AI effectively is not a passive activity. You are not just a consumer waiting for whatever the machine decides to spit out.
Generative AI is an incredible tool. It provides options, it gives you ideas, drafts, and suggestions. But you are the director here. You are the one who decides whether those results actually make it into the real world.
So the very next time a system generates this highly confident, perfectly formatted answer for you, you have to resist the urge to just immediately accept it.
Pause.
Read it.
Question it.
Because ultimately, generative AI is an unbelievable co-pilot. But you have to ask yourself, as these systems get faster, smoother, and more incredibly polished, are you still the one flying the plane?
Keep your hands on the controls, and we'll see you next time on The Explainer.